Bristol, a city with a skyline reflecting 1,000 years of history. But to many visitors, Bristol means only this and this. One has only to go a few hundred yards from the centre of Broadmead, however, to find a fascinating link with medieval Bristol. This conduit, set in the walls of busy Nelson Street, has flowed continuously since 1376. But many of the thousands who pass by every day have no idea of the source of this clear spring water. In 1267, the Carmelite friars founded their house on the site of the present Coaston Hall, and one of the primary requirements was a supply of fresh water. The spring was found near Brandon Hill, crowned since 1897 by the Cabot Memorial Tower. The water was then conveyed down the hillside by a lead pipe laid within a stone culvert. In Georgian times, a new thoroughfare, Park Street, was built, the gentle slope partly covering the route of the 13th century culvert. Few people realise as they walk Park Street's busy pavements that 20 feet below is a water supply 700 years old. A plan prepared by Bristol architect H.C.M. Hurst in 1903 and now preserved in St John's Church, showing the conduit arrangements beneath Park Street. The cistern on the left is some 36 feet wide and 7 feet deep. In close-up, we see the distribution centre of this very complex system. Beneath Park Street is a damp, dark world of stalactites and dripping water. The conduit runs in an arched passage built by the Carmelites in the 13th century. The branch pipe, with the modern cleaning eye, connects with the large cistern shown in the plan. With unheeding feet above, the ancient pipe continues and passes from Park Street under Culver Street. This area was once the orchard and gardens of the Gaunts Hospital, which also derived a water supply from the conduit. The route of the pipe now passes near one of Bristol's oldest inns. When built in 1606, its name derived from tree felling in the district. A study in contrasts, Bristol's new entertainment centre. Many teenagers, as they dance or skate, are unaware that the cool spring water flows far below. It is hard to believe that the lead pipe we see has, for the most part, lain here undisturbed for 700 years. The ancient conduit finally passes under Pipe Lane to reach the site of the Friary, now occupied by the Colston Hall, home of Bristol's classical and light entertainment. At the dissolution of the monasteries, the Friary was destroyed, to be replaced by Sir John Young's Great House, a model of which can be seen in the City Museum. But before this, an extension had been made to the conduit. Bristol Corporation archives contain many references to the city's ancient watercourses. Miss Elizabeth Rolfe, city archivist, refers to an entry in the 14th century Little Red Book, relating to the Bristol's ancient water supplies. We read that in 1376, the Carmelites granted a feather supply from their conduit to the vestry of St. John's. This deed, with its seal, records an agreement between the mayor, Commelty, and a plumber, Hugh White, who would forfeit £10 if he failed to maintain the supply. The diameter of a small section of pipe preserved in the City Museum agrees exactly with the measure still attached to the 1376 deed. From the site of the Friary, the feather pipe runs beneath Hose Street, formerly Horse Street, and old records show that the street was newly paved in 1490, when it was the main road from Bristol to the north. The first Queen Elizabeth must have passed this way when she visited Sir John Young in his great house during 1574. Hose Street leads us to Christmas Street, and thence to Christmas Steps, two historic gems in the heart of Bristol. Hurrying feet cross the cobblestones, heedless of the ancient conduit below and the ancient buildings above. Cutlers gave the name Knifesmith Street to this area before it was renamed Christmas Street, possibly in honour of a former mayor of Bristol. Gables crown the newly restored gateway of St. Bartholomew's Hospital, where, in 1532, Nicholas and Robert Thorne founded the first Bristol Grammar School. Beneath the roadway runs the River Froom. The ancient pipe crossed the river near the old stone bridge at this point to complete its mile-long journey at St. John's Church. The unique church of St. John the Baptist, as we see it now, was rebuilt in 1375. The conduit house, as originally built, and as Queen Elizabeth saw it in 1574. It stood on the south side of the church and was moved in 1828 when a new side pedestrian archway was formed. The church stands on the last of the city's ancient gateways. The quiet, simple interior of St. John's is full of history. Ornamental shields bearing arms of George I hang near a rare hourglass used during the time of the Commonwealth to control the length of sermons. The effigy and tomb of the founder, William Frampton, buried here in 1388. His tunic is in the style of Richard II. The communion table, purchased in 1635 for £3, 14 shillings. The steepled church of St. John's has stood at the foot of Broad Street for 600 years. Today we see the church surrounded by tall modern buildings in the whirl of traffic, but still standing guard over a water supply which, broached originally by the Carmelite friars in 1267, has flowed here without ceasing since 1376.